Children, let us discuss about different kinds of fuels that we require for the running of this entire human society. The various fuels are our natural resources. You know what are natural resources? You have learnt in the previous classes. Air is a natural resource. We have plenty of air all around us. We should only take care that we don't pollute air. Water, available in plenty. But we should see that water is not polluted. We have the plant world around us. We have the soil. Soil is a great natural resource. All natural resources that are around us can be divided into two parts, two sections: exhaustible and non-exhaustible. Exhaust means spend it off. See, certain resources, they go on depleting as we use them. Petrol, for example, petroleum. When we say petroleum, we mean petrol, diesel, natural gas, all those get included. Now, petroleum is a resource that gets depleted over a time period. Whatever petroleum we have under the ground may be enough for another 30 or 50 or 80 years. But a day will come when there will not be any more petroleum under the ground. This is what disturbs us a lot. This is the reason why we are trying to find out alternate resources. Tomorrow, if we don't have petroleum at all, how shall we run this world? What other fuel can we think of? Maybe it's solar, this, various. We will not worry about that. It's a matter of worry. So some are exhaustible, some are non-exhaustible. Let's see these exhaustible resources. Forests. Say 100 years ago, this world had lot of forests. Today, they have depleted. In India itself, 85% of the land had got covered with forests 100 years ago. 85%. Out of every 100 square miles, 85 square miles had forests. So a green land, entire India, it was a land covered by greenery. Today, how much do we have? It is less than 20%. Less than 20%. Forests have got depleted. If situation continues like this, India would turn into a wasteland. India would turn into a wasteland. We have to rise to the occasion, think about it, and take the required steps to see that forests are conserved. What do you mean by conserve? Grow more forests. See that there is a thick green cover. Find out wastelands. Plant saplings. Take care. Man cannot be too selfish. He cannot just live for himself. See, after our generation gets over, the next generation is ready there. A third, a fourth, a fifth. This earth should continue forever, continue for a long time. We can't use everything and wind up the drama itself. So, inexhaustible resources are air, water, soil, etc., etc. Exhaustible resources, I said, first one is forest. We are very much concerned with that. Next, wildlife. Their numbers are dwindling. Thanks for the various steps that the government and the society has taken to see that they are conserved. But in spite of that, the ever increasing population of humans has caused lot of worry, for the reason the wildlife do not have space for their life, for their living. Forests are dwindling. That's the main reason. Earlier they had lot of forests. They don't have now. Minerals. We get ores, different kinds of ores from beneath the earth, beneath the soil. We have mines, from there we dig. We use minerals. Some of the minerals are available in plenty. Some minerals, they are limited. So that is another exhaustible resource. Coal. The world has used coal over the last 200 years. Today, scientists and conservationists say, don't use coal at that rate. Bring it down. By using coal, you are producing carbon dioxide. You are polluting the atmosphere. Don't pollute air. As coal is burnt, you get energy. That energy you use to produce electricity, or you may use it for getting heat. At the same time, coal will be producing carbon dioxide too. It has to be remembered. So minimize, bring it down, and see that you don't depend on coal very much for everything. Spare it. Spare coal. Petroleum, you know well. I just now told that after another 50, 60, 70, 80 years, there may not be any petroleum left. Natural gas. Natural gas, for the time being, it is available in plenty. But after some years, the natural gas which has got produced and collected underneath, that may get over. Where shall we go then? Natural gas is not getting produced now. This natural gas or petroleum, all these got produced, or coal, 300 million years ago. 300 million years ago. Now it's not happening. Okay. Now fossil fuels were formed from the dead remains of living organisms. What are fossil fuels? Fossil fuels were formed from the dead remains of living organisms, mainly plants and microorganisms. We will come to that. Coal is produced from the tree trunks. Tall trees, when they fell down and got covered by layers and layers of soil, and that continued for a long time, the tree trunks got transformed into coal. What were the agents then? Mainly one was temperature, the other was pressure. Underneath the soil, the temperature rose up, the pressure was very high, and tree trunks, the trees which were there then 300 million years ago, they were huge, huge, they were tall. Such trees we don't find now. They have become a thing of the past. Now such trees, due to various natural reasons, they got underneath the soil. Maybe floods. Floods may be one of the reasons. Because these forests, they are called as carboniferous forests. Carboniferous forests. They have given a lot of carbon to us today. These carboniferous forests, they used to grow in wetlands. Wetlands where water is in plenty. And those areas got covered by floods, maybe covered by water, or due to earthquakes, maybe certain forests went underneath. Various natural reasons are there. Coal, you have seen coal? Coal is very hard. I have a piece of coal here. See? It is black in color and it is very hard. Very hard. Even if you hammer, you will not be able to cut it into pieces easily. It is very hard. It is rock. It is rock. But it has lot of heat stored in it, lot of energy stored in it. If you burn coal, you will be releasing lot of heat. Try to collect a piece of coal somewhere and just feel it. See, in olden days, now people have brought it to the minimal. Coal was being used even for cooking. Coal, because coal gives lot of heat. Even now in dabas and hotels you see coal being used. They need lot of heat. They need a continuous fire. So they use coal. So for cooking. Then railway engines were being run by burning coal. Today the government has replaced all those railway engines by gas engines. They started using gas. Earlier they used to burn coal, produce heat. With that heat they boil water. See the connectivity. They boil water and the steam that is produced as water boils used to make the engine run. As the engine runs, it will pull all the bogies with it. 30, 40, 50 or 70 bogies the engine will pull. What a great force, what a great energy. But today, knowing that coal pollutes, steps have been taken in almost all the countries of the world to bring down the use of coal here. See, in the 19th century, 18th and 19th centuries, most of the industries in Europe, they were using only coal. That was the source of heat energy. They were using coal. With the result, those European cities then, they used to be all dark. All the buildings used to have a layer of smoke deposited on them. Today cities look beautiful. We paint. All these were not possible then. Smoke, smoke and smoke. Because of the hundreds of industries that were being run. There's a competition to become wealthy countries. Coal was the only source of energy. So coal was being unearthed, mined and used for producing energy. So now in railways, I told you, they have brought it down, the use of coal. But still in some places, there may be trains which are being run with the help of coal. Thermal power stations. In Karnataka, you have the Raichur thermal power station. As I told you in the case of railways, there too they burn coal. Heat produced will make water boil. The steam produced will be used to run the turbines and produce electricity. So it's a major source of producing electricity. We have many thermal plants in India, but there is a plan to wind these up one by one over years. Some of these may be wound up. But unless you have alternate sources of energy, you cannot close down the existing thermal plants. As the population is rising, the requirement of energy is going up steep, it goes up. So you have to find out various ways and means of getting the required energy. Fourth one, to run industries, as I told you the case of Europe, to run industries, they need energy, they use coal. Today these ironing machines are run by electricity. About 20-30 years ago, they used to have coal. They used to burn coal, put it inside the iron, close the lid, lock it and use it for ironing. Now you might not have seen anywhere because no one uses those. There is a possibility that the black dust that keeps coming out will settle on the clean shirts or trousers to be ironed and they get black marks. They have to take a lot of care then. But with those that are driven by electricity now, the problem is solved. I told you about the story of coal. Low-lying, I repeat again, low-lying wetland areas had carboniferous forests. Why carboniferous? They produced carbon. Tree trunks used to be very thick and they were the sources of lot of carbon. These thick forests, they got underneath the soil about 300 million years ago. So it's a long drawn story. They got buried under the soil due to various natural processes, maybe earthquake or floods or any other reason. Under high pressure, soil covered them, soil layers. Now high pressure and high temperature, two key aspects. Due to high pressure and high temperature, these tree trunks slowly they went on getting transformed into a substance called coal, which I showed you just now. So these dead tree trunks got converted into coal. Coal is mainly carbon. We may call it coal, but what is the content? Content is carbon, C. In chemistry we call it with the symbol C, carbon. Hence, the entire process of tree trunks getting transformed into carbon is called as carbonization. Carbonization. Those forests were carboniferous forests. Now you got coal from those tree trunks, the process is carbonization. If you heat carbon, you get carbon dioxide. We are worried about carbon dioxide there. We need heat. When coal burns, you get heat. Heat is required. We need it to produce electricity. We need it to run, maybe to run a train or to run industries. But what do you do with carbon dioxide? The carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere will keep going up. That's another debacle, a dangerous situation. So the United Nations and all the collaborative institutions world over, they say, stop using coal. Enough is enough. But what does India say? I cannot stop it for another 5 years or 10 years, Please give me a breathing time. When Europe used coal for about 200 years, we did not use coal in the country. We have enough coal in the country. We have it in Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Orissa, West Bengal. In that area we have lot of coal reserves. Now if you say don't use coal and make it a normal ruling for the entire world, what shall I do? I am a poor country. I have to burn coal for some more years till I find alternate sources of energy. Please permit me. And United Nations has given the sanction too. It is true. When Europe was using coal to the maximum, we did not use any coal. That went on for about 150-200 years. Now they stopped using coal for energy production, saying that it pollutes air. India will come under a worst situation. You had coal of your own, you could not use then. There is open clearance for that. Now you can't use now because world order says don't use coal. We will be under a severe stress from the angle of production of energy. Now from coal, by different processes, you can get coke. What is coke? What is difference between coal and coke? Coal has lot of pollutants in it. Coke, it's a pure form. Industrially, by processing, they get coke from coal. Coal is processed and you get coke. Another product you get is coal tar. Coal tar. Wherever roads are being constructed, you see coal tar in big barrels and they use them. Today they have stopped using coal tar. Mostly they use bitumen. Bitumen in the place of coal tar. That's again from the viewpoint of bringing under control pollution. Bitumen is used instead of coal tar. So coke is one produced from coal. Coal tar is another produce, and the third one in the gaseous form, the coal gas. Coal gas is also processed and derived from coal. Now let us come to coke. Coke is again black in color. It is porous. Porous, you have a lot of pores, holes there. It is a pure form of carbon. Carbon in its pure form. So pollutants are not there. It doesn't pollute air that much. Then it's used, where do we use? See, coal can't be used everywhere because it has lot of pollutants. Even the people work in such industries where coal is used, their life gets endangered. So you need pure form of coal. What is the pure form of coal? Coke. In steel industries where iron is converted into steel, there is a major industry in the country. Jamshedpur, Roorkela, Bhadravati in Karnataka here, you have number of industries, big and small, where iron is converted into steel. In all those places, they use coke, not coal. They use coke to keep the pollution level at the minimum. Then, in the extraction of metals, you get ores from underneath. From the ores, you have to get the required substances. It involves a long process, and for that process to run, you need energy. So there they use coke as the source of energy. Now let's see coal tar. Coal tar. All of you must have seen coal tar. Even these huts and residences, they use coal tar. The lowermost part of the wall is tarred to see that insects do not come, or the wall doesn't absorb water in low-lying areas in case you are building a house and there will be floods. The level to which flood rises, you get it tarred. If you put tar, put a coating of tar, the wall will not absorb water. It is water resistant. Even the roads, they use tar or they use bitumen, I told you. So, coal tar is black in color. It is a very thick liquid. You see those road laborers using coal tar. It's very thick, very thick. It has an unpleasant smell. You can't bear it for a long time. Unpleasant smell. See, in coal tar, quite surprising, you have about 200 substances that the current world requires. Coal tar has hidden in it about 200 substances that our modern world requires. So, coal tar is a great resource. It's not just for making roads we use. From coal tar we can derive more than 200 chemical substances. Coal tar is the starting substance in the manufacture of all synthetic dyes. Synthetic dyes. D-Y-E-S. What does dye mean? Color. You need different colors. Colors in order to get the clothes dyed, or for painting, constructions, machines. Everywhere you need paint. You need dyes. Coal tar is the starting substance from where you get different kinds of dyes. Then explosives. You can make explosives using coal tar. It's again a process. You have to get the required items drawn out. Drugs. Lot of drugs we consume today, they are from coal tar. Those chemicals are there in coal tar. You have to extract them. Then you use them for making drugs. Perfumes. See, coal tar has an unpleasant smell, but you get perfumes which have pleasing smell from coal tar. So, perfumes, synthetic dyes, drugs, explosives, all these are got from coal tar. Then plastics. Most of the plastics we use in our day-to-day life, they are all derived from coal tar. Paints we get. Photographic materials we get from coal tar. Photographic materials. Insect repellents. To drive the insects away, keep them away, you use repellents made from coal tar. Repel means keeping them away. The best example is naphthalene. You have these naphthalene balls which you use to keep the insects away. Or if you have silk clothes and other items of fabrics and you keep them collected in an almirah, you put a few naphthalene balls there. Naphthalene balls are insect repellents. If you put some 8 to 10 naphthalene balls in various layers of the cloth will not get spoiled in any way. They are white balls. They spread a perfume inside and they keep the insects away. You can be doubly sure that nothing happens to your clothes. The silver fish will not make an entry. Otherwise, you know the silver fish, they spoil all your clothes. To keep the silver fish away, get a packet of naphthalene balls and use. Naphthalene balls are got from coal tar. These days, bitumen, it's a petroleum product. It is used in the place of coal tar for making roads. Where work is going on as regards construction of roads are concerned, you go and ask those people, where is bitumen? Are you using bitumen or coal tar? Why don't you use bitumen? Now they are using it everywhere. By discussion, debate, asking them, you will be able to get lot of information. You should have the habit of questioning, finding out information, collecting them, and see that you become rich. Coal gas now. I told you three: coke, tar and gas now. Coal gas. Coal gas is used to generate heat. With heat you can get many things done. Earlier in Europe they used coal gas to burn street lamps. That was in the 1800s, 200 years ago. When coal gas was invented, discovered, they felt coal gas can be used to illuminate the street lamps. They illuminated. But later on, as electricity came into the picture, coal gas was removed. Coal gas, they stopped using coal gas. Now, let's come to petroleum. Coal and petroleum. These are the two things discussed in this lesson. We will come to petroleum. Petra means rock. Petra means rock. Oleum means oil. Oleum. Petroleum. Oil made from rocks. See, a beautiful construction. Oil made from rocks. That explains you how it is got even. Now, light motor vehicles, scooters, bikes, auto rickshaws, they use petrol. Light motor vehicles, they use petrol. Heavy motor vehicles like trucks, buses, they use diesel. They use diesel. This you know very well. You yourself know it. Petroleum was formed from some living organisms that died underneath the sea. Huge quantum of living organisms, especially the microorganisms, they died in the depths of the sea, and they got all collected at the bottom of the sea. The organisms in the sea or ocean, when they died, they got collected at the bottom. There are plenty of microorganisms too. They got covered by soil. Layer after layer, soil went on getting them buried. And it is from those living organisms petrol has got formed. Petroleum, because petroleum has many things in it again, just as tar. So all these products, chemical products, we derive from petroleum. Now the organisms died there. Their bodies settled down at the bottom of the ocean or sea. They got covered by soil, layers of soil, layers of sand, layers of clay. Now, when they got covered by sand and clay, layers and layers of them, what happened? The dead organisms did not get air. Air was cut. Oxygen was cut. And lot of pressure was there on the organisms. Pressure. So, over millions of years from there onwards, again, this is something which happened long ago. Absence of air. There was no air there. High temperature was there. It is in the underneath, almost at a depth of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kilometers in the sea or ocean. So here, due to high pressure, high temperature and absence of air, slowly the transformation process started. They got transformed into petroleum and natural gas. So just as you have a story of coal, you have a story of petroleum here. Petroleum got formed mainly in the seas and oceans. Coal got formed on the land, in the interior of earth. Now, first oil well in the world, first oil well, it came into picture in USA, United States of America. The place is Pennsylvania. So the pipes have to be sent into the interior of the earth, say a depth of 8 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers or a little more than that, and you send pipes, and there under the sea or ocean, or maybe the land has covered those areas later on, you have water under the rocks. Rocks have sealed those portions. You have water. Above the water, you have the gas, the oil collected. Water, then you have oil. Over the oil, you have gas. According to the density of the substances, they get arranged. Water has the highest density. Water at the bottom. Next to water you have oil. Oil floats on water, and gas gets collected at a height. Now these are covered by rocks. Pipes have to go. They have to bore in. They have to make bores, and the oil has to be extracted. In all the oil producing countries like Kuwait, Arab Emirates, or Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, in all these places too it's the same thing, or Turkey, Iran, Iraq, they are all oil producing countries. There it's how it's done. They have to bore in and get the oil drawn out. In India we have Assam, Gujarat, Mumbai High. Earlier we called it Bombay High, now we call it Mumbai High. Then you have the basins of Krishna and Godavari. Krishna and Godavari river basins are also very rich from the viewpoint of petroleum stock. Yet, these do not suffice. Keeping in view of our energy requirements, we have to get oil imported into the country from the other oil producing countries. The first oil well in India we had in 1867. 1867, the place was Makum in Assam. 1859, the first oil well was dug in Pennsylvania. Just 8 years after that, we had an oil well of our own in Assam, Makum. Petroleum, again, it's a very dark, thick liquid. Wherever these petroleum tankers, ships get burst in the sea, the petroleum starts getting a cover on the sea. These birds, avians, they become covered by oil, tar, petroleum, and they die unless people come to their help, because it's very sticky. Petroleum, the thick liquid is very sticky. It doesn't get out. The bird will not be able to fly at all. The wings get stuck to the body. It will have a torturous death. A day or two, somehow it will be breathing, then it will die. It has an unpleasant smell, a very oily liquid, a very thick liquid. Now, what does petroleum have? Petroleum has petrol in it, diesel in it, then you have the lubricating oil. We get while purifying petrol, we get lubricating oil too. we need lubricating oil to oil our machines, to see that our machines run well over years. You have to keep on oiling them. That is called as lubricating oil. Wherever there is friction, you put a few drops of oil and friction comes to the minimum. The machine will last for long. Now that's called as lubricating oil. It becomes a layer between the two machines and the movement will be very smooth. Then paraffin wax. You know paraffin wax, which is available in the market. Wax, candle wax, that's paraffin wax. Paraffin wax is also a product from petroleum. Now, separating these various products, you have more than 200, 300 products you get from petroleum again, chemical products. Separating them from petroleum, it's a big job. They go for fractional distillation. Petroleum, the temperature is raised. When the temperature is raised at different levels, at different temperatures, different products come out. At 150 degrees you get something, 148 degrees you get something else, 140 degrees you get something else. Like that. I gave an example to you. At different temperatures, you get the different products out, derive them. That is called as fractional distillation. Now, places where fractional distillation goes on, they are called as oil refineries. Oil refineries, they take out all the different products of petroleum by differing the temperature level. These oil refineries are huge, highly expensive to put up, but they are required, without which you will not be able to get the various components of petroleum separated. Now, useful substances which you get from petroleum, you have a term for that too. They are called as petrochemicals. All these words you should be familiar with. Petrochemicals. Chemicals you get from petroleum are called as petrochemicals. Where petroleum is purified and different products are separated is oil refinery. And the process they use is fractional distillation. Now, what is petroleum used for? Petroleum is used for the manufacture of detergents. You see lots of different types of detergents in the market today. You are familiar with them. Those detergents are all got from petroleum. Fibers, polyester, nylon, acrylic, these are the different artificial fibers today for making cloth. Acrylic fibers, nylon fibers, polyester fibers, all these are got from petroleum. So in the textile field, it's a big use. Whatever waste is there in the oil refinery, it gets used here. You will be able to produce all these. Polythene, all man-made plastics, different kinds of plastics we get, they are all got from petroleum. Hydrogen gas we get from petroleum. We have a big requirement of hydrogen in the industrial field from petroleum. Natural gas we get from petroleum. From natural gas we separate out hydrogen. It is used in the production of urea. To produce fertilizers, to produce urea, you need hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is obtained from petroleum. See, you get all the links here. How all the industries are interrelated. They are linked with one another. You will be able to appreciate that part. So, all different artificial fertilizers we get today, fertilizers, they are all got from the hydrogen that we derive from petroleum, and many other chemicals are also there which turn to be very useful. Due to all these reasons, we call petroleum by the nickname black gold. See what an honor for petroleum. You know, gold is very costly. Of all the metals, it is one of the costliest metals. Similarly, petroleum is called as liquid gold, black gold, gold in black form. The entire industrial world runs because of the petroleum products. Now let's come to natural gas. What is the most convenient benefit we have from natural gas? It's also a fuel which is in gaseous state. Here the advantage is that natural gas can be transported from one point to the other through pipes. From Mumbai, you can transport it to Delhi or Bhopal or Agra through pipes. So that's a great advantage with natural gas. Natural gas, once it's obtained, it is compressed. Compressed and cylinders are filled with them. Compressed natural gas is called as CNG. Compressed C, natural N, gas G, CNG. There's a short form for it. Now what is CNG used for? Mainly it is used for power generation. Power generation, electricity generation. Now, natural gas is also a fuel in transport vehicles nowadays. CNG gas. They will have compressed gas in cylinders, and these compressed cylinders are used in auto rickshaws or maybe bikes, vans or cars. You will have the CNG cylinders. CNG, what it has, the CNG, compressed natural gas, is less polluting compared with other fuels because it burns absolutely. CNG, natural gas here burns absolutely without giving room for any pollutant. In India, we get natural gas in Vadodara, Gujarat. From Vadodara, it is sent to Delhi through pipelines. Then natural gas is also available in Tripura, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, basins of Krishna and Godavari. So, resources are limited, I told you earlier. Whatever had got formed or collected then 300 million years ago, we are using them. So after another 50 years or 80 years or 100 years, definitely we go blank. All these resources will be over. For that reason, Government of India started PCRA. What is PCRA? Petroleum Conservation Research Association. Petroleum Conservation Research Association. Their job is to conserve petroleum as much as possible. See that no wastage is there. What are the different practices we can have to see that maximum utility we have from the limited petroleum? All these are aspects they look into. Now, even as we run vehicles on the roads, we have to take a lot of caution. We can't be luxurious in utilizing the various energy fuels. We have to provide for a comfortable life for our children, grandchildren and grandchildren. It has to run for many years, generations. So what are the steps we have to take? You have to take all the required steps like driving the vehicles at constant speed. Some drive it at high speed, suddenly put a brake, go up, come down. Speed has to be uniform. You have to maintain the speed. Then you can conserve petrol. The speed should not be very high, speed should not be very slow, very low. It should be moderate. When you run a car or a bus or a vehicle, see that you run it at a moderate speed. If you run it at a high speed, then you need more petrol. You have to spend more. Then switch off the vehicle at places where there is a traffic light and you have to wait for a minute or two. In cities especially, sometimes you have to wait for 3-4 minutes even. Then if you keep the vehicle in the running state, you will be wasting energy. So switch it off. Switch off and save energy. Then ensure correct tire pressure. The tires should have enough air in them. They have to be inflated properly to the required level. Thereby the movement will be smooth and the energy that you require to run the vehicle will be at its lowest. So vehicle maintenance is also important. It's not enough if you have a vehicle, see that it is maintained well. All the gadgets in the vehicle, tools in the vehicle, they all should function well. Don't ignore or neglect these things and be a part in conserving energy. Thank you.